Alright, the moment has arrived. I've got my SC project exhaust sitting here on the toolbox. I have not opened this yet, so now we're going to unbox it together. I've been waiting for this for a very, very long time because it's rather expensive. But now, the moment is here. Let's see what we have in here. Alright, looks like this is going to be the hardware for attaching the exhaust to where the passenger rear set would be. Oh, looks like there's a clamp, a Go Fast sticker. Looks like a nice piece of titanium here. Let's see what we got. Got my gloves on so I don't get any handprints on this titanium. Save me from having to scrub all of the handprints off before I start the motorcycle. Ooh. Look at that. Look at those welds. Wow. That is a work of art. Absolutely beautiful. Look at that. Looks like there's a little bit of stuff on the inside there, some dust of some sort. Yeah, that'll come right out. Alright, let's continue on. Some cardboard. I gotta go to the recycling center today anyway. And here it is. The muffler itself. Carbon fiber. SC project. SC1-R. Wow. Ooh, I thought this was going to be shiny. I like it even better. This is matte carbon fiber. Oh. Yep. Looks like it has the DB killer installed. I don't even think I'm going to try that. Wow. What a work of art. What an absolute work of art. I can't wait to get this installed on the motorcycle and show you guys and make some sound clips. Get this out of the way here. What else we got? Alright, looks like, yep, some diagrams, some more stickers, maybe a installation manual of some sort. Alright, well that is it. Empty box, beautiful exhaust, and that's going to be going on this motorcycle here today. Oh, hello there, kitty. What's going on? That's my cat, Stormy. Say hi to the channel, Stormy. Stormy! Alright. Looks like it's breakfast time for her. Okay, guys. Well, here we are. I've got everything laid out. Now, when you're going to work on a motorcycle, or any vehicle for that matter, you want to make sure that you have everything laid out and everything organized exactly how you need it. The worst thing you can do is rip open the box, lay things on the floor, have tools laying out. You don't know where your tools are. In this case, I know pretty much what I'm going to need to work on this thing. Let's see. So starting with the muffler, I'm going to go ahead and take out this restrictive decibel killer. I don't really need that. So for that, what I'm going to use is a 1/4" drive ratchet with a 5mm Allen. You may be able to just get a regular Allen head in there, but this one actually has a ball on the end of it. I don't know if you can see it or not, and it allows me to be allows the socket to go in kind of crooked. There's not really a straight shot at this decibel killer screw on this model. Yours might be different, but in this case I'm going to need the wobble socket. See, so I can go in here at an angle. See how I'm doing this at an angle here? And we'll just remove this screw out of here. Looks like it's just about out. There it is. Kind of hard to do this with the camera, but working on it. There's the old screw there. And now this should just pull right on out somehow. Let's see if I can get this out of here. I'm not doing too much damage. That's in there pretty tight, actually. Let me pause the camera here. I'm going to have to work on this off camera. Alright guys, so I don't know if you can see this very well or not. This thing is in there. I tried for a while to get it out and couldn't. Finally got it to move, and I'm using the bottom of a 1/2-inch drive ratchet, using the soft end. I don't want to use anything metal or anything hard because I don't want to dent anything or damage anything. So I just kind of hitting it, and just like that, that stupid decibel killer is out. Why they put it in there so tight, I'm not sure, but that is out of the way for now, and for good reason. I don't want to have this thing any more corked than it needs to be. Alright, so the next step is to remove this bolt here, and that's a 13mm, and that's what holds the whole entire exhaust from the cat back. That's what's going to tighten it or hold it to that to the header pipes. So to do that, it's just a 13mm. I've got a little bit of an extension, so I want some more reach on it, and it's not that tight. Just break it loose, and then once you get it somewhat loose, if you have a flexible ratchet, you can do this. Just get it loose, and that's about all we got for that. That's nice and loose. The next step is to get this here off. This right here is a 5mm Allen and a 13mm on the back. Alright, so we're just going to make sure that's on loosen. We'll stick that there. Probably easier to go ahead and break the nut loose first on the back side. Once that's loose, you can just hold it with a wrench and spin this out. Put your finger in behind so you can catch the nut so it doesn't fall down on the floor and get lost somewhere. You're not going to need it for this installation because the installation kit actually has this with it, but that's about all she wrote there. And I did exactly what I told you guys not to do, and that's not put my finger back there. I forgot that there was a washer on the back side of this. And for this, I usually just thread that together just so it doesn't get lost. But that's all for that. And then from here on out, from here, we can go ahead and pull the exhaust off of the motorcycle. Now, if you have the cables still installed, and most of you probably do, you're going to have to uninstall those cables. They're fairly easy to do. Let's see if you can see this here, if I can get in close with the camera. Alright, there's two things here, and this is where the cable sits in. There's screws on either side. You loosen them up and then you can pull them out. It's probably easier to go ahead and take the muffler loose and then pull the muffler off and then get the cables off, rather than trying to do it with them right here, because this is a pain in the ass. There's not a lot of room back there with your fingers. Alright, so from here, what we're going to do is grab a hold of this muffler and we're going to start pulling on it. It's going to take a little while because you got to run it back and forth. You got to try to get this at just the right angle. Sometimes you need to loosen this up just a little bit more in order to get the enough play. Alright, that's nice and loose, that's off. What we're going to do is wiggle this back and forth until it comes off. Alright, so now I've worked it loose by shaking it back and forth. Now the whole thing comes right off, and now we have our old exhaust system with the exhaust valve and the little bypass. When this valve is closed, the air will come out of the catalytic converter and it'll get diverted into this small pipe, and it comes up the bottom of the muffler and it comes out here instead of going through the straight flow here. That's why this motorcycle is so much louder when you take off the or you open the exhaust valve. Alright, so we're back here at the bench getting our tools ready. The factory hose clamp that goes around here has a 13mm head on it. This one that's supplied from SC Project is only a 10mm, so you're going to have to switch out your wrench. You're going to need a 10mm ratchet. And if you're wondering how any of this goes together, it's very simple. SC Project has provided this little diagram, right? So we can see that this is going to line up here. These springs are going to go on the bottom. They're going to connect here and here with our pipe. We've got these bolts over here with the little spacers. The bolts are going to come underneath here. And then we've got this bolt and this little spacer here. And then this the nut and the bolt here. And yeah, if you have any questions, it's all right here. And one thing to note that I didn't show you guys before, this says OEM screw. So you're going to take the one that came off the bike, and that's what's going to go here in the top of the pipe. This new one over here, that's going to go up on the muffler here at the rear foot peg. So the next step, I'm going to go ahead and thread this bolt in. Dump trucks. And then I'm going to put on the replacement holder here that takes place of your passenger rear sets. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and thread this in here. Now there's the nut. That's next. And then the washer's next. This here's the nut. The nut's going to go next. That's kind of a pain to get it back there, so what I'm going to do is push here, and I'm going to thread it in from this side and get it started at least. Alright. Like I said, I'm not going to put any force on this just yet. I just want the nut and bolt to be started here and ready to go as soon as I get the muffler all put on here. Okay, so I'm ready to go on with this little bad boy. This is going to sit just like this. There's a spacer on each side. I'm going to do these one at a time just for ease. I'm going to thread that in, put that just like that, and then we're going to find the hole up here. That's what she said. Alright, so now that's threaded in. Now we're going to take the other one before we get it too threaded in. If we get it too threaded in, we won't have enough movement to get this up in here. Alright, now it's going to come up like this from behind. And we're going to go up into the holes for the passenger rear sets. This bike's not really a good passenger motorcycle anyway. I know there is a solution to mounting one of these with the rear sets, passenger rear set, but nobody wants to ride on the back of this thing anyway. Single seat only. Alright, that has a little bit of slop in it. That's what I want. I don't want it to be too tight. I want it to be able to move around in case we need it for alignment. Alright, next step is to grab our muffler and get it over here. Alright, so the next step is to get our muffler installed. It just slides down like so. I'm just going to aim this way. Alright, so now we have a bracket here and a bracket here. This is where the springs are going to go. There's a spring on both sides. I'll show you how to get those here in a little while. And for this, see how it's not quite perfectly lined up? That's why we wanted a little slop in this thing, because if we tighten everything down, we may not be able to get it. So, according to the diagram, this comes back this way. It comes through the hole. And now, we put our nut on right there. Alright, so now we're kind of all mocked up. I need to get these springs installed now. The springs, kind of a pain in the ass because you have to pull on them, but with the right tool, they're not too bad. They actually make exhaust spring pullers. I'm going to use a little hook pick that I have. I'll show you that here in just a second. Okay, so here we are. I've got a pick and I have a spring. Now, I could put it in this way and I could pull it up with the spring this way. If it slips, I might scratch that. I don't want to do that. I'd rather not scratch my brand new muffler. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come from this side. Alright, I'm going to hold this. I'm going to grab my little pick, hook it on. Now, all I'm going to do is pull this down. Easy peasy. Lemon squeezy. That was corny. I get it. Alright, I'm going to try to do this with one hand holding the camera and one hand using the tool, because you guys can't see when I have this on my hat brim. There we go. And that's all she wrote. Now, all I got to do is tighten that. Tighten this here. Tighten this little guy here. Tighten those two. And then we're going to be able to start this thing and finally listen to this V4 engine uncorked. Alright guys, we're filming with the iPhone now because the GoPro does not like to zoom in on text. Here's a little issue that came up. It says that the screw comes in from this direction, and then the washer, and then the muffler. And on this diagram, it has the screw going in from this side, then the spacer, then the muffler, and then the nut, right? So looking at the bike, I've made an executive decision here. I don't like the way it looked with just the nut here. And when you have this on the back side, you can't get to it with a straight on socket without removing this rear fender. I didn't think that was right, so I went ahead and I just flipped it around here. I didn't see there any reason to have the nut on this side. That shouldn't change the functionality in any way, and the diagram kind of contradicts itself, so I'm gonna go with this. And with that, the exhaust is now complete. This thing looks sick. I can't wait to fire this up for you guys. If I can get the camera to focus here. Hey, there it goes. All right. It looks so sick. One thing, if you didn't use gloves or if you had dirty hands, you might end up with something like this. I've got a couple of fingerprints here. You're going to want to clean that up before you start the motorcycle. If you get in a rush and be like, oh, I want to hear it, I want to hear it. You get really excited and you just go out and start it. This gets hot and it's going to burn those fingerprints right into the pipe, and you'll never get that off, ever. So it's a good idea to go ahead and wipe down your pipe with a rag. Usually what I do is some WD-40. I don't spray the WD-40 directly on the pipe. I'll spray it on the rag itself, and then I'll wipe off any handprints, any fingerprints, any smudges, anything like that before we fire up the motorcycle, just because we don't want, I don't want handprints on my pipes, and I'm sure you don't either. So I'm gonna wipe down this one, and then the next thing you'll see here is me firing this thing up. It'll be a cold start for the first time. I'll let it warm up. I'll do a little walk around of the motorcycle with it idling. Once I get a little bit of temperature into the engine, then we'll go ahead and I'm going to break out the sound recorder and the and get some good high quality audio here for you guys at home with good sound systems on your computers. As you'll know, anything filmed with a GoPro, and it's going to have okay audio, but it's not going to have good professional sound. So that's what I'm going to be going for, and that's what I'm going to be recording. So see you here shortly. Alright guys, here we go. This is the first startup. Completely cold engine, so you're not going to hear any revs just yet. Once we get some temperature in them, we're going to go for it. So loud. Alright guys, not gonna lie, this thing is super loud. Not going to rev it up in the neighborhood here and tick off the neighbors and whatnot. So I've got a better idea, actually. How about we take it down the road and we'll get some sound clips and maybe do some flybys. That sounds like a whole lot more fun than me revving this thing in the driveway for you guys. So we'll see you out there on the road.